Hello, boys. Welcome back to the Bayern Post. That game that we saw today was not that great, and I'm bummed out. Honestly, I've been struggling to really put all my thoughts together and try to come up with something constructive and not just completely me shitting on the team and the tactics. But they were lousy. Not going to lie, the tactics were lousy. So this is going to be kind of negative on Julian Nagelsmann, but I feel like it's deserved. However, though, first and foremost, I just wanted to give congratulations to Bochum. They played well. Honestly, they exploited our weaknesses in this formation with this personnel. Completely immaculate in the first half. They scored some world class goals, and it was, deserved the win for them, honestly. But I just feel like it wasn't good enough from our team. It wasn't good enough from our tactics. Let's get right into it, though. I'm just gonna go over like what happened in the game real quick because it does need to be acknowledged, for us to completely understand what happened. So let's go. Let's look at the lineups real quick. Bochum lined up with a 4-3-3, a balanced 4-3-3. They had three midfielders. Doesn't really seem like anybody took that cam role or that DM role. They had a real good presence in the midfield. We lined up with a 4-2-3-1. Pretty good lineup for us. It seems like that's been our default lineup. It's been working a lot. I'm glad we didn't start with the back three, but it only works, and this is true with any formation. It only works if you have the right personnel, which we didn't. And I'm just going to list off the names real quick, and I'll give my gripe with why it didn't work at the end of the analysis. But okay, so we started off with Lucas Hernandez at left back, Upamecano right next to him, Sule as the other center back, Pavard at right back, Kimmich as our midfield double pivot, Mueller at DM, Coman left wing, Sane, Cam, Nabri right wing, and Lewandowski at striker, obviously with Ulreich in the goal because Manuel Neuer isn't available. And listen, I understand we have limited personnel, right? We don't have Alfonso Davies to rely on. We don't have Stanisic as that other right back option just yet. We don't have Goretzka, and Jamal Musiala is out with some COVID complications. It makes sense. You have to start Ulreich because Neuer is recovering. Okay, all of that makes sense, right? But listen, what doesn't make sense to me is why Nagelsmann decided to line up with the players that we did in the specific roles. But watch, this is what happened in the game. In the ninth minute, we actually scored first. It was Robert Lewandowski. It was an in-swinger by Kingsley Coman, providing him an assist again, just like last game. Coman has been good at doing that. He's been pretty consistent. And Robert Lewandowski gets the ball in the box. He almost get his pocket picked. However, he plays ping pong with the ball, gets it off to his right foot, and just does like a beautiful finesse pass into the goal with so many players from Bochum around him. That was a world class goal. Honestly, it was beautiful to see, and it seemed like things were going to go great for us, but with the formation that we lined up with, it was just inviting trouble, and trouble surely fucking came because in the 14th minute, it was Christopher Antwi Ajed. I think I butchered his name, but he scored a goal, and he completely just outdid Sule. He did him in. Sule's ankles almost broke, honestly. Sule was not fast enough to react to close him down because the attacker had some time in the box with space to get a shot off. And Nicolas Sule just didn't seem interested enough to press him down once he stopped running. He just stood there and let it happen. He turned his body. Bro, it didn't seem like Sule was that interested, honestly. That was the first goal. And I feel like Ulreich could have done something about that one. I feel like that's the only one he could have done something about, actually. Unfortunately, he doesn't. I feel like Ulreich had enough time to try to react to it, but he didn't. And the ball goes in. 14th minute, it's 1-1. Then it seemed like a struggle for possession, struggle for back and forth. I feel like at this point, Nagelsmann should have seen that the personnel he had in this formation wasn't going to work out. He should have made some adjustments at least, you know. But then in the 38th minute, Upamecano does get a handball in our penalty box. So a penalty is awarded to Bochum. Jurgen Locadia comes in, he steps up, and he scores the penalty. Obviously, penalties are always hard for a goalkeeper. And even if Neuer would have been in goal, he may have conceded that as well. So that's not too much on Ulreich, honestly. It's not his fault for that. It is Upamecano's fault. He did make that mistake. But even with that, even with Upamecano making some mistakes, which he did, I feel like he wasn't our worst defender. No, I know he wasn't our worst defender because it was Nicolas Sule. I'll touch a little more of that later. But in the 40th minute, Christian Gamboa scores an absolute world-class goal, honestly. Christian Gamboa had a fucking game. He was awesome. But I feel like he nutmegged Kingsley Coman. He dances by a couple of our players. Kimmich isn't able to close him down. And he has too much space, but he swings it in from the right side. And he just like, it goes over and then bends down straight into the back of the net. And there was nothing Ulreich would have been able to do about that. Neuer probably was not going to save that either. It was world class, man. It was awesome, and that was a deserved goal for them. Seeing it from a neutral standpoint, I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can. It was a fucking great goal. It was amazing. Then 4 minutes after that, if you can believe it, they scored the fourth. All of this happened in the first half. And it was Garrett Holtman, this time from the left side. He scores a goal where it curves in, he just curves it in with so much space, but it's like it's also just like the Gamboa goal, but I'd say that this one it was a bit better. It seemed like an inverse Robin type of goal. It's something that you would pull off in FIFA, honestly. What happens here is that Upamecano fails to take the ball away from him, and unfortunately doesn't close him down on time. I forgot who was next to there. I think it was Sule. Sule doesn't even try to close him down. He just stands there, like gives Holtman too much fucking space. He just stands there and watches him shoot. Sule just wasn't on it, man. He wasn't interested. Let's be honest. His heart wasn't in the game, but it was an amazing world-class goal, honestly. And hey, man, it was spectacular. But okay, with all that out of the way, Robert Lewandowski does score another goal in the second half, in the 75th minute. And it was from a free kick that comes in from Joshua Kimmich. And the Bochum defenders try to clear the ball away, but it falls to Robert Lewandowski, who does an impressive scissor kick, which is slots lasered in right into the back of the net. And it was a great goal. He almost scored from a free kick. Man, it hit the top of the crossbar. If that would have gone in, that would have been an amazing hat trick, and would have maybe gotten us close to a tie. But still, this should have never happened. And hey, I'm gonna break it down now. This is my rant, okay? I try to see it as objective as I can, but this is the part of the rant here. Nagelsmann got outcoached. He outcoached himself too. He beat himself. He defeated himself. I don't feel like Nagelsmann completely understood all the strengths that he could have used within this formation. He didn't understand who was the best for which situation. It seemed like he had a Pep Guardiola moment. He completely underestimated Bochum, and it's shameful, honestly, and rightly so. We got beaten because, listen, I didn't want Nicolas Sule to start. Why? Because I feel like it's shameful how he's been going about the whole moving to Dortmund thing. And it's not just because he's moving to Dortmund, and it's not just because he's leaving on a free, but it's because of the piss poor excuses that he's been making. Obviously it's no surprise that it's no secret that Bayern hasn't been happy with his fitness levels, with him returning overweight after breaks and the start of new seasons. It's been happening every season, but there's been reports of him saying to his friends that he doesn't care, he's not going to change his lifestyle, and that him being in this lifestyle is what got him this far. and he's not going to change. So honestly, it seems I don't buy it for 1 second that Bayern didn't appreciate him enough. It's just that he thinks he's too high and mighty. He's too above what everybody else does. Because think about it. I mean, remember, every single one of the players has to meet these fitness levels, but he just feels like he's above it all. He didn't care. He didn't want to resign. I feel like Dortmund honestly said, we don't care. It's fine. We like you. We like your potential. We like what you do. So he went on and signed. Honestly, it's kind of shameful. And I just felt like Nicolas Sola's heart was not going to be in it. So this is why I wouldn't have started him. This is how I would have lined up. I would have gone with this formation, a back four, but I would have played Omar Richards at left back, Lucas Hernandez next to him, partnered by Upamecano, and then Pavard at right back. Obviously, Ulreich in goal. I also would have used Kimmich as the center mid, but you need a DM. You need a good DM to stabilize that midfield to allow Kimmich to be a little more creative and be a good partner for Kimmich. And we do have a good DM, but I just don't. I felt like Nagelsmann finally understood that Roca is quality, but he seemed to have reverted because Roca was on the bench. Instead, he placed Thomas Mueller. I would have played Roca there. Leroy Sané on the left wing, Thomas Mueller at cam, Kingsley Coman on the right, and then Lewandowski at striker. I promise you, we line up like this and we win. I'm I'm being dead ass, bro. We line up like that and we win. Why do I say this? Because go and look back on those games where Marc Roca was playing alongside Jamal Musiala, when he was playing alongside Corentin Tolisso. He gives whoever he's playing alongside the liberty to have more creative freedom. That's what he allows for. And him and Kimmich together, I honestly would have dominated that midfield. Then I don't know why on God's green earth you're playing Mueller at at defensive mid instead of Cam. It just doesn't fucking make sense. And you have all of our wingers on the pitch at the same time. Who do you have as a substitute then for any wing position? You don't have any. So it's like, why? This Frankenstein formation, it was never going to work, especially when you don't have Neuer in goal, who saves us over and over again. You have Ulreich. You got to try to be... You got to try to win, bro. I just feel like this was shambolic. It was nonsense, honestly. And it was a deserved loss. But this completely falls on Julian Nagelsmann. And he didn't even use Marc Roca as a substitution. He did use Corentin Tolisso. He did use Marcel Sabitzer. And honestly, they were both underwhelming. They made a lot of one-touch passes that didn't come off. They got dispossessed many times. They didn't stabilize any sort of the midfield. And also, though, it was a Frankenstein formation. When Choupo-Moting comes on for Thomas Mueller, what was he going to do? Is he playing Cam, a false nine? Is he helping out with the midfield? It didn't make sense. And honestly, the only thing is that I hope, this is a rant obviously, but I hope to God, Julian Nagelsmann sits down and honestly rewatches and just understands why we lost this. And that him doing this is not acceptable. He has to understand all the flaws and what could have been done better. I hope he does understand that, because if we play like this against Salzburg, we're going to get embarrassed, bro. That game is coming up on Tuesday, and the only thing I can hope is that all the players get fired up. I hope he drops Sule, because he needs to be dropped, honestly, until he proves some type of fire within him. He doesn't deserve to be there, bro. He didn't seem interested. It seemed like Sule was playing with 70 to 80% capacity and drive, and that's just not good enough, bro. It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. Anyways, though, that is the rant. I don't know if you guys agree, disagree. Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to try to have a good weekend. The Super Bowl's coming up. I'll probably tune into that. I'm looking forward to the game versus Salzburg on Tuesday, but I hope to God that Nagelsmann shapes that up. But yeah, besides that, though, I hope you guys have a good day, evening, or night, whatever time it may be. stay safe. 皆さん、